Maria, that's right. It's been a busy day here at the Haliç Congress Center where just moments ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan just wrapped up their remarks celebrating this moment. I want to jump back into our conversation with Taha Meli Arvas. Tom, it's interesting because right when we got cut off to actually go into the main conference center, we were talking about this different kind of relationship, and that was really highlighted in both presidents' speeches. Talk to us about what this strategic partnership, which President Putin also mentioned, and the different type of friendship or relationship that President Erdogan touched upon.
As you said, we were just talking about how the interdependence, the economic interdependence of both countries and cooperation between the two leads to, frankly, peace around the Middle East. So President Erdogan said that Turkey has been in great relations with Russia for over 500 years. I think he said 1492 was the first time there's been relations. And the Russian president reiterated that Turkey is able to focus on continued cooperation despite setbacks in the region. I think he was alluding to the Syrian conflict and other issues there. Both presidents are correct in saying that economically, the more interdependent two countries are, the easier it is for them to focus on cooperation politically. And that's what we're seeing here. That's the real benefit of this pipeline.
But this is actually quite interesting because it actually goes against logic. President Erdogan said that our strategic partner, the United States, and the relations between our neighbor, Iran, the tensions between those two countries has reached fever pitch. But we hope that the security of energy could bring peace. It does seem it can go against logic. Is that possible that the security of energy distribution bringing peace, especially in such a turbulent region as the Middle East is?
I think, first of all, President Erdogan really has no choice, frankly, as far as lobbying for peace. And what you heard there is him trying to kind of make a connection, build a bridge between the United States and Iran, because of these recent events. Because Turkey is, the latest salvos from Iran into Iraq are 150 miles, less than 150 miles from the Turkish border. So Turkey is very much into northern Iraq. So Turkey is very much, it has no other choice but to try to encourage its neighbors and the United States to get along. Because if it doesn't, Turkey, not only does is it adversely affected economically because of all these, for example, the Syrian refugees in Syria, the economic uncertainty. What this will help to continue to do is decrease uncertainty in the region. That's the goal, and that's the benefit here.
And you could definitely be sure that these are some of the major issues, whether the situation in northwestern Syria with nearly 300,000 refugees pretty much pushed up against the Turkish border, the situation in Libya, and what's happened in the last week, whether it's the killing of Qasem Soleimani or the attacks that we just saw just 12 hours ago in northern Iraq. All right, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
We're here for the opening of TurkStream. How much of an energy hub is Turkey going to become with this? Because this is actually one of the points that not only TurkStream is trying to make, but also Turkey's trying to make.
Right. So this is the third pipeline that's, after the one that President Erdogan just talked about, TANAP, the one that goes through Azerbaijan, Georgia, and then Turkey, and then the Blue Stream. This is the first one that goes directly from Russia to Turkey. So that makes it unique. And Turkey has become an energy corridor because of these pipelines. This TurkStream that we're here for the launch of was originally slated to go directly to bypass Turkey, and then the Ukraine, Russia
with the South Stream.
That's right. So with that, Turkey was going to be bypassed, and then because of the Ukraine, Russia, Crimea situation, the Europeans and the Russians kind of soured, their relationship soured, and then Turkey was brought in. So as a result, now Turkey kind of has a monopoly on the pipelines going from east and west, between east and west. It's become an energy corridor, and it's going to be, and as I said before, not only is there a benefit for it through employment, through lowered costs for energy for Turkey, which is very important. It obviously imports almost all of its energy, but it will also help decrease uncertainty. If there is a conflict in Georgia, for example, in the future, TANAP might be disrupted, but this is not this is a direct line to Turkey.
Turkey's actually pursuing quite a proactive, or some would say an aggressive policy when it comes to energy expansion in the region. We've talked about TurkStream
Right.
and the other two projects, but there's also drilling in the Eastern Mediterranean.
That's right.
And also there's a quite important partnership between Turkey and Russia in terms of Turkey acquiring its first civilian nuclear power plant.
Right. Both of those are issues that President Erdogan touched on. I was surprised to hear him talk about energy independence and energy cooperation in the Eastern Mediterranean and how he didn't want the Mediterranean to be a region of tension. These are all important points. As you said, Turkey is aggressive in that push, but it's an energy importer. If it wants economic sustainability in the future, it has no choice. The development of nuclear power for Turkey, the prices of energy in Turkey are several times higher than they are in other countries, not only all around the Middle East, but especially in Europe. The taxes associated with them, et cetera, are very high. So it needs to decrease energy prices. And that's the cheapest way to do that now is the nuclear power plant.
So that would also probably help aid in Turkey sort of tackling its long-standing current account deficit.
Absolutely. Right,
okay.
right.
The two leaders, actually more so, President Erdogan talked about this $100 billion trade volume between the two sides.
Right.
We know that Russia sends over a lot of tourists. There's a strong military cooperation between the two countries, whether it's the acquiring of the S-400. Is the issue of energy going to really sort of push that towards it closer to that $100 billion mark?
Yeah, this is the easiest way to do it, frankly. I mean, similar targets were set by President Erdogan for trade with the United States and other countries. 100 billion is a very common number here that we're hearing, but it's the easiest to do with Russia just because natural gas, I mean, we're talking about not a value-added product necessarily. The volume is very high. The numbers are very high. Nominally, it'll be very easy to achieve. So is it difficult to achieve? Not at all. Like I said, it's an immediate benefit because of the reduction of costs in those imports.
Okay, one final question to you. Obviously, Turkey and Russia are the biggest winners in this.
Right.
The biggest loser? I would say Ukraine.
Yes, I mean, that is a continued, not only Ukraine, but Europe as well. I mean, it's a loser in some sense. Obviously, this natural gas will end up in Europe. Some of it, as President Putin mentioned, half of it will end up in Turkey, as far as one of the pipelines comes directly to Turkey, and the other one will go through to Europe. I think Europe is trying to have its cake and eat it too here. It's saying, no, we don't want to do cooperation with Russia. They have to be punished because of Ukraine. But at the same time, they're saying, please give us your natural gas. So it's a little iffy there. I mean, they're being virtuous in some sense, but also buying Russian natural gas. They have little choice, and so they're doing that as well.
All right, Taha, good talking to
Thank you.
And I hope we were going to talk to you throughout the day here
Sure.
on the opening of this important milestone between the two countries.